In an article published in 1998 by 3 professors from the Trinity University, they researched what is a reasonable withdrawal rate when living off of your savings. This study is extensively referenced for those who are considering early retirement and pursue the financial independence, retire early, FIRE movement. Whether you're considering early retirement, wondering whether you can stop working and enjoying your life by doing things that you desire, such as traveling, spending more time with your family, or buying your dream car, or if you're just curious how long your investment portfolio can last if you were to live off of your savings, or if you quit your job, this video, which is a summary of the findings from Trinity study, is for you. We'll also discuss how you can calculate your financial independence number. Watch this video until the end and let me know what you think. I put a lot of time and effort to put this video together for you and bring a value to our viewers on here on Momentum channel. In return, I appreciate if you'd give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to channel for future contents on financial freedom, investing, and stock analysis. Thank you. Most investors who plan for retirement eventually confront the question of how much money they should plan to withdraw annually from their investment portfolio. The challenge is, if they withdraw too much, they could run out of money. But if they withdraw too little, they unnecessarily lower their standards of living. In this video, we'll attempt to identify the sustainable withdrawal rate that would work for you. To help in the selection of an appropriate withdrawal rate, we'll take into account the historical success of various withdrawal rates from portfolios of stocks and bonds. The portfolio success rate, a useful concept for identifying sustainable withdrawal rates, is measured by the percentage of all past payout periods supported by the portfolio despite annual withdrawals. In that sense, a 100% success rate gives us the reassurance that the selected portfolio and its parameters would have resulted in a success all the time. Presumably, a withdrawal rate that has worked well over the long term in past is likely to work well in the future. The portfolio allocations examined here were 100% stocks, 75% stocks, 25% bonds, 50% stocks and 50% bonds, 25% stocks and 75% bonds, and finally 100% bonds. The S&P 500 index was used to represent stocks, and long-term high-grade corporate bonds were used to represent bonds. Historical annual return data were used to calculate ending portfolio values after annual dollar withdrawals were applied. The annual dollar withdrawals were based on a first-year withdrawal rate, that is, a percentage of the initial portfolio value. If an investor's portfolio outlives the investor's planned payout period, then it is counted as a success. Table 1, showed here on the screen, displays 200 portfolio success rates resulting from different combination of 10 withdrawal rates, 5 portfolio allocations, and 4 payout periods, all based on annual stock and bond returns from 1926 to 1995. The table shows the impact of asset allocation on portfolio success rates. You notice that there is a general decline in portfolio success rates caused by increase in the percentage of bonds. In contrast to stocks, bonds provide little upside potential, which causes the portfolio success rate to be small or even zero for bond-dominated portfolios at high withdrawal rates. Because of the benefits of diversification, however, the presence of some bonds in your portfolio increases the portfolio success rate for low to mid-level withdrawal rates. For example, for withdrawal rates of 7% and lower, the 50% stock and 50% bond portfolio has higher success rates than the portfolio with greater stock allocations for all payout periods. If history is any guide for the future, then withdrawal rates of 3% and 4% are extremely unlikely to exhaust any portfolio of stock and bonds during any of the payout periods shown in this table. This suggests that if you can save a nest egg large enough to only need to withdraw 3 to 4% per year to pay for annual costs, then you will be able to retire immediately. For instance, if you are spending $50,000 in household costs per year, assuming a 4% withdrawal rate, you need to save a nest egg of $1.25 million invested in the stock market to be able to retire comfortably, as long as you are planning to use your savings for up to 30 years. Depending on your lifespan, market volatility, stock market returns, and lifestyle, or whether you have any alternative sources of income in retirement, you may have to save a larger or smaller nest egg. But for planning purposes, where should an investor draw a line between acceptable and unacceptable portfolio success rates? The answer will vary from investor to investor, but it seems clear that some investors will choose withdrawal rates exceeding the highly conservative 3% or 4% rates. The portfolio success rates in the preceding sections are derived from 70 years of capital market returns generated from 1926 to 1995. But how would your options look like if you focus on a more recent time horizon? To answer that question, the Trinity study also looked at the post-war period, namely the years from 1946 to 1995. The exclusions of the Great Depression and World War II made considerable changes to the study findings. In fact, as you can see on this table, there's a higher success rate for portfolios comprising of at least 50% stocks. On the other hand, portfolios with a heavy concentration of bonds show little or no improvement during the post-war period. Keep in mind that while longer periods provides a larger distribution of returns, which beneficially represents more possible states of the market, some of the economic conditions prevalent in the 1920s and 1930s bear little resemblance to today or future, and hence excluding them may provide a more accurate prediction. By the way, if you live in Canada, US, or UK and you're new to investing, you might take advantage of a robo-advisor tool such as Wealthsimple Invest, which makes the investing process so easy. Depending on your risk tolerance, Wealthsimple invests your money in a number of carefully selected high-quality exchange-traded funds and helps you reach your financial independence number earlier. For Momentum channel viewers, there is a promotional link provided in the description down below in this video, which allows you having your first $10,000 managed for free. I'm personally invested in Wealthsimple for the past 4 years and find it a great tool to save and invest. Alright, getting back to the video, what about inflation, you might ask? How would that impact our calculation? Well, one big risk faced by individuals living off of their portfolios is inflation. Inflation does limit the purchasing power over time. For instance, if inflation averages 3% per year, then the purchasing power of your $70,000 will be cut in half by the end of 25 years. One way to plan for the impact of inflation is adopting a withdrawal rate smaller than the rate of return on the portfolio. That allows the portfolio value to grow annually. If the withdrawal rate is then applied to the growing portfolio value, the annual amount withdrawal will increase. In this table, the withdrawals have been adjusted for inflation and deflation based on the market data for the period of 1926 to 1995. You notice a dramatic decline in many of the portfolio success rates, especially for mid-level and high-level withdrawal rates. Despite the adjustment, however, withdrawal rates of 3 to 4% continue to produce high portfolio success rates for stock-dominated portfolios. One issue with the calculation of the inflation or deflation in this table is that it presents portfolio success rates that reflect withdrawals adjusted for changes in the Consumer Price Index or CPI. However, many economists believe that inflation as measured by the CPI overstates the actual increase in the cost of living by 1% to 1.5 percentage points per year. If so, then the portfolio success rates in Table 3 are biased downwards, especially those for the longer payout periods. Planning for the CPI-adjusted withdrawals places greater demands on the portfolio and requires the investor to reduce the withdrawal rate, perhaps more than necessary. In other words, Table 3 shown here appears to be more conservative than what it has to be. Another interesting question that researchers explore in the Trinity study is, what is the likely value of portfolio after making all of those annual withdrawals during retirement years? Portfolio value at the end of the payout period or terminal value depends on the length of the portfolio period, the portfolio composition, and withdrawal rates. The table shown here presents terminal values for $1,000 portfolio, but if you're more interested in a $1 million portfolio, you can just multiply the numbers by 1,000. The numbers are shown after making the annual withdrawals. The terminal values are for portfolios containing both stocks and bonds, which excludes the most extreme allocations, and for payout periods ranging from 15 years to 30 years. Based on all past payout periods from 1926 to 1995, the statistical values in Table 4 for each case includes the average, minimum, and maximum terminal values and the median, which is the midpoint value, whereby half of the values are below and half of the values are above that. As an example, assume a 75% stock, 25% bond portfolio allocation, a 7% withdrawal rate, and a 20-year payout. Between 1926 and 1995, there are a total of 51 periods of 20-year length. The table shows that the average terminal value for all of those 51 periods of 20 years from 1926 to 1995 is $2,435. In other words, after paying out 7% of the initial portfolio value each year for 20 years, the portfolio has still $2,435 remaining. The worst 20-year period would have resulted in a terminal value of $0, while the best 20-year period would have resulted in a terminal value of $7,047. The median or midpoint of all results is $2,076, which is smaller than the average and implies a distribution of terminal values that is skewed upward, which is also suggested by the large maximum value. For stocks-dominated portfolios, the median terminal value generally increases as the payout period grows longer. Investors with longer planning horizons potentially will have larger terminal values, but without mid-course reductions in the withdrawal rate, in some cases they will experience higher frequencies of portfolio failure. In conclusion, to answer the question of what is the appropriate annual withdrawal rate from a portfolio during the retirement years, it is clear from the results in the tables based on Trinity study reviewed that the answer depends on the mix of stocks and bonds in the portfolio, a planned payout period, and on a retiree's degree of risk aversion and preferences for consumption patterns. Nonetheless, there are some general conclusions to be made. Early retirees who anticipate long payout periods should plan on lower withdrawal rates. The presence of bonds in the portfolio increases the success rate for low to mid-level withdrawal rates. However, the presence of common stocks provides upside potential and holds the promise of higher sustainable withdrawal rates longer term. In other words, the addition of bonds help increase certainty, but at the expense of potentially higher consumption. Most retirees would likely benefit from allocating at least 50% to common stocks. For short payout periods, say 15 years or less, withdrawal rates of 8% or 9% from stock-dominated portfolios appear to be sustainable. Since the life expectancy of most retirees exceeds 15 years, however, these withdrawal rates represent aggressive behavior in most cases. Keep in mind that statistically you have a chance of outliving your life expectancy, so it is wise to be conservative when it comes to calculating your withdrawal rates and how much money you need to have in your nest egg. Now that we have reviewed the key findings from Trinity study, if you were to calculate your FIRE number or the total amount of savings you'd need to have invested to be able to retire based on the scenarios discussed, here's how you can do so. First, you need to calculate your annual expenses. Say as a household you're expending $50,000 per year in expenses. In order for you to be able to retire comfortably and have enough savings for a 25-year period post-retirement and do not run out of money adjusting for inflation based on a 4% annual withdrawal rate, you need to divide your annual expenses by the withdrawal rate. Dividing $50,000 by 4% or 0.04 results in a nest egg of $1.25 million. In other words, you'd need $1.25 million invested to be able to comfortably retire while being able to safely withdraw 4% of your portfolio values once a year for the next 25 years. Keep in mind that our calculations does not take into account any monthly recurring income from rentals or side hustles. So if you have such income, then they can lower your FIRE number. In other words, you'll need a smaller nest egg before you can comfortably retire. For instance, if you have a recurring rental income of $1,500 per month, that would lower your financial independence number to only $800,000. I'll leave a link to a financial independence calculator down below in the description of the video, which allows you to calculate your specific financial independence number based on your unique circumstances. Let me know what is your financial independence number down below after you've calculated. And when do you like to retire? There you have it, folks. I hope you found this video beneficial and you've gained something of value from it. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might benefit from this video as well. And don't forget to subscribe to Momentum channel. Here on Momentum channel, we post weekly videos about financial freedom, investing, and stock analysis. Hope to see you next time.